I'm doing a prediction video on UFC Fight Night this weekend, Moreno versus Albazi, and this is my third time recording this video. I've gotten 20 minutes in at one point, and then I had to stop because of family thing, and it just didn't end great. But we're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna keep going because I believe in quality over quantity. And before we start this, I would actually like to say I appreciate all the views, all the support I've been getting. We just hit 1,000 views all time, which it might not sound like much at all, at least to y'all, but to me it really means a lot because it means I can support it. Any progress to me, I appreciate it all. We just got another subscriber. I made a deal that if I hit 10 subscribers, I'm gonna be live streaming the Peter Yan versus Davison Figueiredo card at 4 a.m. So if y'all want to ruin my sleep schedule, I'd very much appreciate that. But we're just gonna go right into this now. Alexander Romanov versus Rodrigo Nascimento. I don't trust heavyweight outside the top 5 to be good fighters just because they're a bunch of obese Big Mac boys. But it's just Romanov, surprisingly. Because he only loses to really the best of the best. He has 3 losses. Those 3 losses are Marcin Tybura, Alexander Volkov, and who's the other? Jailton Almeida. There we go. They're all elite at their one thing, maybe besides Marcin Tybura, but Marcin Tybura is one of the best gatekeepers in UFC right now. So, I mean, that's pretty good, right? Volkov, we already know he's top 5. He's about to fight Gone for a title eliminator. That's amazing. He's really revived his career in like the best way possible, and he's looked like a whole new fighter who could be one of the best heavyweights on the planet, if not the best heavyweight. So, 2 pretty understandable losses. And Jailton Almeida, who is a steroid freak, who's kind of a retard because he should have beat Curtis Blades in all honesty. Yeah, steroid freak. I mean, there's not much to say. Like, he's a steroid who's on who's at heavyweight, you know. So of course you're gonna win. He's an amazing grappler, which all you need to be is a grappler to win at heavyweight and a physical beast. So not a bad loss either. Even though 2 of those losses came in the first round, maybe all 3, I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure Volkov and Almeida was in the first round, which is bad. Nascimento just got flatlined. He just got knocked out by Derek Lewis early this year. Hasn't fought since then. I think that was early in the year too, so he's been out for a bit now. And I think this will be a decision for Romanov, just because I don't think Nascimento's that good. He's kind of just a little fatty, in all honesty. He's kind of fat. I mean, Romanov is too, but he's shown that he has potential. Now, I haven't seen that potential in Nascimento. I think Romanov's better skill for skill. But my main thing is, you have 2 grapplers, and when you have 2 grapplers, it ends up being a decision because they just kind of nullify what they both do, and then they just end up in a stalemate lane there. So whoever gets top position wins at heavyweight. And I think just skill for skill, it's Romanov. I really do. Like I said, Nascimento just got knocked out by Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis, I'm gonna say it how it is. You can't be losing to Derek Lewis now. He really just doesn't really do anything anymore. You can't be losing to him. So, in my opinion, you put Romanov versus like Derek Lewis, I think Romanov beats him. So I'm gonna go Romanov decision, probably a 30-27 in all honesty. Jack Shore versus Yusuf Zalal. I like Yusuf Zalal a decent amount actually, but Jack Shore is one of the best prospects at featherweight in my opinion. He had a good fight against Brito where they stopped it just because of a leg cut. I understand they said, "Oh, we saw bone." I mean, you look at the replay; they stuck their fingers inside of his cut, like, and not like, "Oh, let me just look at it." They hooked their finger inside of his cut basically. So Jack Shore had a really good fight with Brito where it was 1-1 in my opinion. And he kind of boxed Brito up after Brito ended up gassing up a little bit. Which I don't think Brito's that good of a fighter. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know people might not like that take. I don't think Brito's that good of a fighter. I chose William Gomez to beat Brito because I know he gasses, and I know that he can just be a little retard sometimes. Jack Shore is a good fighter. Like, he's 17-2. You don't just get like, even if you're fighting cans like Khabib, 17-2 is a really hard record either way. Yusuf Zalal has some questionable losses, even though he is good. He just has some really questionable losses that I can't be like, okay, I see you beating Jack Shore. While he's a great grappler, Jack Shore is a pretty good counter like wrestler in general. Yeah, I'm going Jack Shore. I'm gonna go second round knockout. I trust his boxing. Jack Shore is really good at pressuring, and when someone does get tired, he has a really good instinct to just jump on that and try getting ahead in the fight. I'm gonna go Jack Shore. Second round knockout. Like I said, he's one of the best prospects at featherweight. Great boxing. I just, like I said, Zalal has some questionable losses. I don't see him staying consistent this whole time. And like I said, when Jack Shore like senses something, he'll go after it. He will, and he'll push a pace. Charles Jourdain versus Victor Henry. So this one is a little weird because I have this take on Victor Henry where he's not great, but he's good. Like, he's really good at the fundamentals. While Charles Jourdain isn't someone who's great at fundamentals, but he's exciting. And when you have a matchup like that, it's kind of hard to know who's gonna win. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Charles Jourdain just got knocked out by Gene Silva, which isn't great, but it's Gene Silva. I mean, Gene Silva could be a future champ. Everybody was saying, "Oh, Gene Silva's future champ" after he went up and beat Dober on in like a week. That's just kind of insane to me. So people were saying, "Oh, Gene Silva future champ," but this fight's taking place at bantamweight. And will Charles Jourdain? With all due respect, I don't like when someone gets knocked out and then, they go down a little bit. I don't really fuck with that at all. But Victor Henry, man, like, he's just fundamental wise. And he can sometimes just be like inactive, I guess. He can be inactive where he just won't throw a punch sometimes. And he'll just check down with leg kicks. So I can really see Charles Jourdain, especially in Canada, just going out there, hurting him early or just doing some crazy shit and stealing the round. How I think it's honestly going to be is Victor Henry's winning majority of the rounds, and in the last 40 seconds to a minute, Charles Jourdain just switches on and just tries beating the shit out of him, going crazy. So I'm going to go Charles Jourdain decision, 29-28. I think maybe even we might hear a robbery, but it's Canada. It's Charles Jourdain. He's an entertaining fighter of highlights. It's kind of how it is, And Victor Henry got his balls exploded. I know that doesn't really mean much, but I like that fact. I think it's really funny. Yeah, Charles Jourdain decision. It's in Canada. I think he'll steal the last rounds. I think he'll be losing a decent amount. And then he's going to steal the last rounds with like a flurry or something. Because Victor Henry loves circling against the cage. He's not really a guy who will assert dominance or control a fight. He'll love circling against the cage and just outpointing you. Charles Jourdain, he's not about that shit. You know what I'm saying? He's about, you're going to stand here, you're going to fight me, I'm going to put you through some hard situations. And we'll see if you come out of it. Which a lot of people have, but, still. I think in order to be someone who's very fundamentally sound, you need to be a little crazy. You need to have something unique about you, and I think Charles Jourdain, just boxing-wise, just his craziness, there's something about that. And I think he'll put a pace on there that just breaks Henry eventually. So, I think he'll lose the first round, but I think in the second round, if Victor Henry gets a little tired, Charles Jourdain is just going to go crazy on him, and he'll probably get a robbery decision, in all honesty. Ariana Lipski versus Jasmine Jasu. I don't care. It's a women's MMA fight. Most of the time when I'm going to this women's MMA fight, right, I'm like, let's do the checklist. 1, do they look like a man? No, not really, don't. 2, are they built somewhat like a man? Are they strong like a man? No, not really. 3, do they have a unique skill, a skill that they're very good at, like kickboxing or jiu-jitsu? Do they have a background in that? Not a good one. So this This fight's a who gives a fuck. This fight's a really just a 50-50. I'm gonna go Lipsky just because she's been up there a lot longer, and she's bad. She's bad as fuck. Like I'm not saying skill wise. I'm saying she's bad. And I honestly just think that she's better. She has good grappling. She has decent striking. She's really just a decent at everything. She's a mixed martial artist, right? She's very technically sound. Well, I just don't trust Jasmine. She doesn't have the experience against the gooder. I said gooder. Against good fighters. Lipsky has decent experience against good fighters. And it's a women's fight. Like, let's be honest, you don't research women's fights. I barely do. Let's just go with whoever has the bigger name and whoever's fought better people. We're gonna go with Lipsky. Decision, because it's a women's MMA fight. Pedro, let's go into the good fights now. Pedro Munoz. I don't know why I said his name 3 times. Pedro Munoz versus Zahabi. I'm gonna go Zahabi. Just purely based off the fact that Just purely based off the fact that Pedro Munoz he's not. I don't want to say he's inactive, but he is kind of inactive. Where he just. You know how Bruno Silva is, where he's in the fight technically, like he's still there, but he's not in the fight. Like we know he lost, because he's just not throwing anything. He's just not doing anything. He's just accepting the loss. I feel like Pedro's the bantamweight version of that, at least now. I will say he got beat up by Kyler Phillips, 30-27. That loss, that's not aging well at all. Just purely based on the fact that Kyler Phillips got destroyed by Rob Font. I think before that he lost to Chito Vera, which isn't aging well at all because Chito Vera, fucking hell. Like I said, I recorded this 3 times. I'm like, my mind is fried right now. Chito Vera just got completely humbled by Sean O'Malley. Destroyed. Probably the greatest performance I've ever seen from a champion is what Sean O'Malley did to him. It wasn't close. There was no level of success from Chito. The only level of success from Chito was the fact that he punched him in the gut once in the last 10 seconds because Sean O'Malley felt bad for beating him like a child. It's like when your brother accidentally hits you very hard or does some stupid shit to you. And then he's like, okay, you can punch me once. I'll let you punch me, but you already know it's not going to do shit to you. So it's he bullied him. So basically what I'm trying to say is Pedro Munoz has a knack of just getting outworked. I don't know how you get outworked by Chito Vera. He doesn't do anything the first 2 rounds. Sometimes he doesn't do anything the 3rd round. When you're getting outworked by Chito Vera, that's kind of a problem for me, even though he's a good fighter. Chito, by the way, even though Chito's a good fighter. He's one of the guys that will not outwork you. He'll land better than you, but he won't outwork you. I think Zahabi's going to outwork Pedro Munoz. His age is catching up to him. His losses aren't aging well. He doesn't throw anything. I understand he got eye poked, I think twice against Kyler Phillips. A nasty eye poke. But, doesn't matter. You would have lost either way with all due respect. Does it really matter? And Zahabi has alright wins that age well. Ricky Tercios is a good win. There's some other motherfucker, I just don't remember his name. Also, he's Canadian. And I know people say, oh, tell me who you think is better skill-wise, who you think's going to win skill-wise, but, if he's Canadian and the fight's in Canada, it's like if a Russian guy's in, Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi. It's you don't see the clear-cut advantage, right? You notice that shit. It's a very real thing, so. And Pedro Munoz is a guy who already loses decisions by just not throwing anything, so I'm going to go Zahabi. I think he'll outwork him, and even if he loses the fight, technically, he's gonna win. It's Canada. It's fucking Canada, you know what I'm saying? Mike Malott versus Trevin Giles. I'm going Mike Malott decision here, 30-27. Mostly because he's not as bad as people think. They saw him get beat by Neil Magny in the last minute, and they're like, oh, this guy has no heart. This guy sucks. True as that may be, the first 14 minutes he was destroying Neil Magny, and he could have finished him anytime. He just is a little retard and didn't. I don't think Trevin Giles is on the level as Neil Magny. I think Mike Malott's better than Neil Magny, just purely based on that performance. even though he lost. Also, Canada sees him as like their Superboy, if you remember that. How like he was like the hometown hero. So he'll probably win the decision pretty clearly here. And like I said, I just don't think Trevin Giles is as good as him. Trevin Giles uses his physique a lot to win fights. Mike Malott fairly matches his physique. If not, he has a better physique than him. So I'm going to go Mike Malott here, 30-27. I think he'll out grapple him, and I think even in boxing, that like even if they're in the clinch or in boxing, oh my, why can I not pronounce the X right now? Boxing exchanges. I don't know why I did that. He'll win in boxing exchanges. I think he'll piece him up a little bit, take him down, maybe hold him against defense. Mike Malott can be boring as fuck. And I think even if he gasses out, he's going to be so far ahead that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he loses a round or anything. Like, he's a guy who starts very good. He just gasses out. And I think cardio is something that he'll look back on and he'll be like, okay, I need to fix this after the Neil Magny fight. So he might show up with better cardio also. So I'm going to go Mike Malott, 30-27. Comfortable win versus Trevin Giles. Damn, this bitch calling me. Fucking hell. Okay, Marc-Andre Barriault versus Dustin Stoltzfus. I don't remember how to... Both these guys are ass. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Both these guys are ass, but Marc-Andre Barriault's fun to watch. Dustin's not fun to watch either, but, like, you needed someone who was trash to get Marc-Andre Barriault a win in Canada. Marc-Andre Barriault, he's not trash, right? He's not trash. But what it comes down to is, it's in Canada. He's going to win. And Dustin doesn't really have heart. The thing I can say about Marc-Andre Barriault is, when he loses, it's to decent people. Like, he lost to Joe Pyfer, got slept in one punch, really. Which isn't great. I hate when that happens. Or I love, like, watching it, but I hate when I have to, like, look at a fighter get knocked out in one punch, and I'm going to be like, okay, well, his career's not over. It's like, his career's probably over. He lost to Chris Curtis, decision, very close fight. I mean, he's just not great. He gets pieced up in boxing. I mean, he likes being a brawler, but, like, he's not physically strong enough to knock someone out. But Dustin sucks ass. Like, when I say he sucks ass, he sucks ass. At least Marc-Andre Barriault's fought a Chris Curtis, right? And a Joe Pyfer. At least he looked competitive against Chris Curtis, you know what I'm like, I guess. Okay. Yeah, okay, I know my prediction. First round knockout, Marc-Andre Barriault. I don't know what's tempting me to go with this, but Dustin's a guy who I don't trust fighting. Usually a slow starter. When I say that he's ass, like I said, I hate repeating that he's ass over and over again, but he really is. So it's just a competition between a bad fighter and an ass fighter, and I'd rather choose the bad fighter. Especially in Canada. I think he's going to want to make a statement after getting knocked out. Marc-Andre Barriault is the type of guy that's like, he'll lose 2 to 3 fights in a row, but as soon as you say, if you lose this, we're going to cut you, this motherfucker's going to turn into the best fighter I've ever seen in my life. I'm feeling a nice, strong first round knockout. It's going to look very scripted, but like, I feel it. This is not based off logic. Do not bet this. This is like 30% logic, 70% I just got a feeling. But that's kind of, you just have to have a feeling about ass fighters. I got a feeling first round knockout Marc-Andre Barriault. I really do. Chao Machado versus Brenson Ribeiro. These guys are in a very similar situation where they got into the UFC and they lost both their fights. They lost both their fights as soon as they got in the UFC. And they're built the exact same way. Chao Machado is, he's cucking Ian Gary right now, which I guess is a win. Brenson Ribeiro is just, have you ever seen Benchwarmers, the baseball movie? He looks like a guy who's like 30 playing against 12-year-olds. I'm gonna go Brenson Ribeiro. Like, why couldn't we get Romanov on the main card? Or or something else. Why is this? Why is this here? Why did Derek Lewis have? Derek Lewis pulled out literally as I was making this video. By the way, why did Derek Lewis have to pull out? Like, why do I have to sit through this shit as the feature fight? They're both on 2 losses. Like, I don't know. But Chao Machado versus Brenton Ribeiro. I'm going Brenton Ribeiro. Just Chao Machado is not great. Neither is Brenton. Fucking hell, bro. He's calling me. But Brenton, at this point, man, like, I trust him more. He's got more of a dog in him. He's not a great fighter, but like, these guys are basically the same fucking fighter, but one of them has more experience. So I'm just gonna go with the more experience. Like, they're the same fighter. They're both from Brazil. They both lost 2 times before coming in the UFC. They're built almost the exact same way. I'm going Brenton Ribeiro decision. I think he'll hold him against the fence. Chao Machado is actually a decent striker, even though I just said he was ass. He's actually a decent striker, but like, these guys, the more I think about it, they're the same fucking thing. I'm just gonna go Brenton. I'm going Brenton decision. Like I said, I probably don't bet on this one either. It's this fight. This fucking card's so 50-50 for some of these fights. Yeah, I'm gonna go decision. I think when it comes to Ribeiro, I think he has better grappling, at least standing. And I think he'll probably just hold him against the fence. Expect this fight to be very boring. It's light heavyweight. And both these guys might just gas out. It is how it is. Both these guys might just gas out. And Brenton Ribeiro, you can really win fights at these weight classes by just being more athletic. I think he's more athletic than Chao Machado pretty easily. And also, he just gives aura. Like, look at Chao Machado, you're like... When you look at Chao Machado, you're just like, that's my uncle. You know? When you look at Brenton Ribeiro, you're like, okay, this motherfucker's gonna, like... This is like a jail time Diddy type of person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go with aura. I know aura doesn't mean shit at all. But just, I mean, like, look at him. Like, he's fighting someone's uncle. Who's like, let me just take up MMA, because why not? And also, Brenton Ribeiro, he can dig deep. Like, I mean, he's not really a dog, but like, he can dig deep, and I think he's gonna hold him. He's gonna have a great holding him against the fence for a 30-27 performance. Now, fuck that. Nah, neither of these guys are good enough to get a 30-27. He's gonna hold him against the fence for a 29-28 performance. I'm very confident. I don't know why I'm very confident on that. I'm just very confident on that. Now let's go to the actual good fights that aren't just random 50-50 fights. Aaron Blanchfield versus Rose Namajunas. This is my problem with this. Rose Namajunas isn't that great. And I know when I say that, you're like, oh, she's on a 2-fight win streak. But she's not really. I mean, Ribas won that fight. It is what it is. I think Ribas pretty clearly won the fight. She beat, on a week's notice, Tracy Cortez, who was wearing fake eyelashes in the ring. That's just a red flag everywhere, actually. She lost to Manon Fiorot. But I don't trust Aaron Blanchfield because I think she's stupid. I'm a fan of Aaron Blanchfield. I think she's a good fighter. I just think that she has a little bit of autism. Because if you watch her fight with Manon Fiorot, it's like she didn't throw a takedown, or she did throw a takedown, but very late, and it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Like, you can't strike with Fiorot. That's just not how that works. You don't fight. You don't strike with Fiorot. Fiorot's very good at striking. And as a grappler, why you just shoot a fucking takedown? But Rose isn't Fiorot. I think Blanchfield's gonna look at that and be like, okay, I should have shot a takedown earlier. I should have got that in her head instead of waiting until the 4th round when I was already losing badly. And I was already gassed out. It's like that IQ on some of these people. But Rose isn't Fiorot. Rose can get grappled against very well, actually. I thought Wei Li beat her in the decision, which I know it's Wei Li, but still. Andrade totally picked her up, fucked her like a man. Until the second fight, obviously. Rose is someone you can grapple against, and I trust that Aaron Blanchfield is going to look back on that performance and be like, okay, I should have grappled. My mistake. Like, I should have grappled against her. I'm not going to make the same mistake. I'm going to get in Rose's head early. Amanda Ribas had really good success grappling against Rose, which is why I gave her the fight. And Aaron Blanchfield, in my opinion, is better than Ribas when it comes to grappling. I'm going to go Aaron Blanchfield decision. Rose is someone who can lose decisions. Like, sometimes, if someone's being competitive with Rose, sometimes she really just won't throw shit. Like, she won't throw anything. She'll just circle out, and she'll put on a horrible, boring fight. You ever watch Carla Esparza versus Rose Namajunas? If you haven't, then don't. But if you have, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to go Aaron Blanchfield. Aaron Blanchfield decision over Rose. It's a 3-round fight. That favors Aaron Blanchfield, in my opinion. And Rose already has victim mentality. Maybe it's because of her groomer husband. She already has victim mentality. Yeah. Aaron Blanchfield. Everything wants me to pick Aaron Blanchfield. I think Aaron Blanchfield is just a better fighter. She's not gonna make the same mistake and stand up with Rose, right? Right? Please tell me she won't make that same mistake. I think Manon Fiorot's a better striker than Rose, with better takedown defense. Yeah, I think Blanchfield will have success in the grappling, and Rose is the type to probably go 30-27. So I'm gonna go 30-27 Aaron Blanchfield. I don't think this fight will be that close. I think they're gonna scream Thug Rose 18 times, and they're gonna be like, Thug Rose with a nice, beautiful leg kick. She got groomed. Thug Rose with a great leg kick, and I'm just gonna see Aaron Blanchfield take her down off of that leg kick. Yeah, I trust Aaron Blanchfield. I think she's a better fighter, but I think the Rose Namajunas glazing is just gonna be out of the world, and I'm not looking forward to hearing it. So Aaron Blanchfield 30-27, just purely based off grappling. Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. I'm going Brandon Moreno. I know he hasn't fought since February. By the way, this fight was supposed to take place in February, and it got pushed back to November. That's kind of insane to me. I'm going to go Brandon Moreno, purely based on the fact that I don't think Amir Albazi is that good. Physically, he's actually small for flyweight. I don't know how that's a thing. Usually when we talk about atom weight, we talk about atom weight for a woman. He's actually small for flyweight. Kai Kara France dominated him, and it was one of the worst robberies ever. He almost got paralyzed this year. The only downside I can see of Brandon Moreno is the fact that Brandon Moreno has lost his will to fight. He took a break, and that's why he hasn't fought since now. But I will say, one thing I like about people taking short breaks is, for example, Adesanya. He said he wanted to take a short break after losing to Sean Strickland, right? And the reason he came back was because he missed fighting, and he was like, okay, I have a chance here. When people take short breaks, that tells me that they missed fighting, and they wanted to go back to fighting, and they have that drive. Adesanya looked better than he ever has against Dricus du Plessis. He looked amazing. His boxing was some of the best boxing I've ever seen. I think Brandon Moreno, the reason he took a short break was because he missed it. He missed fighting. And like I said, I don't think Amir Albazi is this level. He lost to Kai Kara France very, very easily. Maybe 4-1 Kai Kara. Brandon Moreno beat Kai Kara France, albeit he got beat up a little bit. I think Brandon Moreno's going to watch the Royval fight, and he's going to be mad at himself because let's be honest, in that 5th round, if he pushed more of a pace, if he did really anything significant against Brandon Royval, he would have won the fight. He had back control, and he was saying, okay, if I keep back control, then I'm not gonna lose. But the reason he lost is because he just didn't throw anything. He could have easily won that fight, and he didn't. So I think knowing that, he's gonna come back here, and he's gonna be like, okay, I need to show myself the old Brandon Moreno. It's the same thing I said with Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal saw that he lost to Ian Gary, even though he could have easily won if he just threw a punch. And he's going to be like, okay, I'm not making that same mistake again. I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to put the fucking beating on this guy. And I think Amir Albazi kind of folds under pressure. I don't think his grappling is as good as people think it is. I don't think his boxing is great either. He's a very fundamental guy, and he kind of looks like a fanboy and chum-chum character. And he's cringe. I don't trust him against the level of opposition Brandon Moreno is, especially when, like I said, he got destroyed by Kai Kara France, like badly. And I think we'll see something out of Brandon Moreno. I think we'll see the older version of Brandon that could have won a fight, that could have been fighting for a title by now, but he didn't. And when something like that happens, it makes it so that you don't want to make the same mistake. You fight as much as you can to not make the same mistake. So I want to go 49-46, Brandon Moreno. Decision. He's not going to TKO Albazi, despite Albazi being very tough. He's not going to TKO him. I'm pretty sure Brandon Moreno has a lot better striking than him when it comes to boxing and kicks. I think his wrestling and grappling's on point. He's a very good grappler. Very underrated about Brandon Moreno. Very good grappler. I think he's a better Albazi. I just think he's a better Albazi, to be honest with you. He's Albazi if Albazi had a good physique for flyweight. And he was better skill-wise and cardio. He's just a way better Albazi now that I think about it. And I think he's motivated now. I think he missed the fight game and he wants his belt back. Brandon Moreno, 49-46, I would say. I think you should bet on that. That's probably my lock of the card, just because Amir Albazi's not that great. Yeah, I think I'm very confident in Brandon Moreno. And I hate Amir Albazi, because he robbed Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France could have been fighting for a title by now, knocking people out, but Amir Albazi, got the win. Just so we didn't see Amir Albazi fight for a year. And like I said, he was almost paralyzed this year, so I don't trust the guy who's almost paralyzed coming back to fight. Like, I'm good on that. I'm very good on that. If you're almost paralyzed due to your fighting career, maybe don't fight. Just friendly advice. Maybe don't fight. Yeah, 49-46, Brandon Moreno. That's my lock of the card. I appreciate all the support. Like, subscribe if y'all enjoyed or agreed on anything. If you didn't agree on me on anything, really just put in the comments. I'll respond. I got nothing better to do. And like I said, I appreciate that we finally hit over 1,000 views. If we get 10 subscribers by November 23rd, I will live stream my reaction. I'm not going to live stream the fights because I'm not trying to get banned. I'll stay up with y'all until 4 a.m. to watch the Peter Yan, or the China card. You can just say the China card, I guess. So yeah, like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I really appreciate all the support. And thank you for everything that y'all have given me so far.